on the road. I actually just pulled into a.
Can you hit the horn for us one time? Yeah!
Let's
go.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
Shout out to the people.
Yeah.
The truckers, everyone in traffic.
We used to take field trips, and we'd see a trucker, Allen, and we'd go like this, and he'd honk, and it'd make our day, man.
They still do that.
Yeah.
They do that.
Just did it.
Yeah, I did. I mean, my gosh. We used to drive up and down Highway 5 every summer as a kid, and I did two things to pass the time because I was a weirdo because I liked baseball stats, so I liked to keep track of things. And somehow, once we got through, my parents, you buy the kids little gifts, like when once they start acting up, you're like, here, shove that, and here's a lollipop. But once we got past that stage, I used to track, like I would keep track. We bought a minivan. We bought a Dodge Caravan. And so I used to keep track of all the different minivans that we would see. I would keep a tally, like who's winning. Is it the Ford Aerostar,
right,
the Dodge Caravan, the Toyota minivan?
That's dope.
And I would keep track of that. And then, gosh, yeah. But other than that, though, that's the other thing I would do. Every trucker we passed by, I'd give them the, come on, man, honk your horn. I feel like they do it less now than they used to back in the day.
For those that had siblings on road trips, we would just play punch buggy. And anytime you see a different license plate, all bets are off, an excuse to slug the younger sibling. That's pretty much the way 6 hours goes.
Beats the alphabet game. I know that. That thing's killing me.
It can be pretty rough on I-5. I spy something black and white.
You're like,
is it a cow?
Nothing. Yeah.
Is it a cow? Is it grass? What are we doing?
Yeah, shout out Dan. We would go driving across to Texas, dibs on that car. So anytime you saw a nice car that you wanted.
Dibs on that car.
We did anyway.
He's probably somewhere listening on Interstate 5. This is the crossover. Mark Willard, Allen Stiles, Daryle the Guru Johnson, of course. So, guys, I know that you just kind of came in, but the thing that we were hottest on prior to the break, and I want to run it by you guys, are Jonathan Kuminga's quotes. I would assume from Las Vegas, that's the last time we saw him, but apparently with Inside the Warriors, and Joey Lynn is the author of this, had an exclusive interview, was talking about his reaction to CP3 getting traded.
Okay.
And here's what he had to say. I was surprised, Kuminga said, watching CP growing up, the way he plays a different type of basketball than the Warriors. Me, being on the Warriors for the past 2 years, now we play a different kind of basketball at a faster pace than CP. He then clarified and said, I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to work. I feel like CP's smart, has a lot of experience. I look forward to seeing what he's bringing to the table. So do you kind of err on the first part of the quote or the second part, or are we just reading too much into this?
We'll get into it more in the show, but I'm going to tell you right now, this man is trying to get traded. He's trying to get traded.
Even with that second, he ended it
but
politically
it's not just
correct.
that, Goop. What happened during the season the report came out, and then he tweeted and said, well, I didn't say anything.
So you don't think that's over with?
No, I don't. And then when DiVincenzo left, he was heartbroken. Man. He posts on his Instagram story, man, my guy is gone. We know that there was a divide. People have been open about the divide. Which side were you on? Kuminga was on the side with a lot of guys that are no longer on the team. Yeah. So who is Kuminga kicking it with right now? Who is he kicking it with?
It ain't Draymond. Remember,
it ain't Draymond. Draymond don't even know his middle name.
CP3 is supposed to be
trying to know that guy.
Yeah, man. Come on, Dray.
What's his favorite color, Draymond?
Yeah, man.
So that's what I think. I think that he's trying to maneuver. Okay, he still doesn't really know where he fits.
When I was growing up, just to let you know.
I know, right?
Exactly.
Well, he's half his age. He's half his age.
He doesn't need his boys. All he needs is a good pick and roll partner, and that's what Chris Paul's going to bring to the table.
Was Jonathan born in Chris's rookie year?
Close to.
Be real now. I think he was like
might be onto something.
Oh, Chris Paul's rookie season.
Chris Paul's rookie year, was Jonathan alive?
Might have been a junior at Wake Forest. I'm not sure. Either way, he's been growing up his whole life watching Chris Paul run a different style of basketball than the Golden State Warriors.
Is that concerning to you? Because I only had got the first part, and then Allen, I was with him. I was like, oh my God. Then he kind of,
I'm less focused on what he said, and I'm more focused on what he didn't say. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm I don't know if I'm saying he's trying to get traded, but I think you're onto something, because think about how we all reacted to Chris Paul. one of the few positive things that most of us said is, boy, that sounds great for Jonathan Kuminga. Like, that is a pass-first point guard. That is somebody who has made
he'll
big
open
men.
them up.
He's made big men better. Draymond said it. He opened up DeAndre Ayton. He made DeAndre Ayton. If I'm Kuminga, wouldn't you think he would say, oh, my gosh, I am so excited to be able to receive passes from one of the greatest point guards that's ever played the game. And he didn't say that. Instead, he's kind of like, it's an odd fit from the guy who is supposed to be the most fittingest player with this move. That's a little strange.
Yeah. It's more
That's a little
about,
strange.
Out of all the things he could have said, him choosing to say that says a lot. Because to your point, Willard, he didn't even have to say what you said. There's so many other things he could have said that would have showed us that he's excited. He's not. He could have said, man, the way CP3, is able to run the pick and roll and what I've watched throughout these years, that's going to be me and him. And I think a part of that is you don't want to talk about the fact that he's still running that second unit and he don't want to be there. Yeah. He's seeing all of his buddies running around in Houston or wherever they are doing what they want to do, and I'm over here relegated to like a sophomore on varsity, trying to get some time.
Evan, read it again. I'm looking forward to what? I'm looking at the end. I'm looking forward to
seeing how it's going to work, and
that's
I feel
good.
like
That's
CP3 is a
telling you
smart
it might
player.
not work.
I feel like he's going to bring so much that we didn't have on the team, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to playing with Chris. I'm looking forward to seeing how it works out. Is kind of like
from Orlando.
Like okay, I'm gonna stop short of he's trying to get traded, and I'll say it this way. I think that he right now is not sure whether or not he's supposed to trust the Warriors organization. Well, he wanted to play more.
That playing time, that hurt him. And then he had his reps devise a letter. What is my client? What's the role? And let the body, we just lost.
And what's he been listening to? He has now been listening to the whole world say, well, the Warriors went and decided that old beats young, and what they want smart players who know exactly what to do, where to be, when. And so if I'm 20, 21 years old and I just got benched for the whole playoffs and my best friends all just got traded or signed elsewhere, like, again, I don't think it's a death blow, but are you taking a wait-and-see approach? Yeah, don't forget, there was that report from if he is not going to have a defined role next year,
that was
his
heavy.
agents will seek to be elsewhere.
Yeah. What happened with
I don't know. Yeah. Promises behind the scenes or maybe not.
Yeah.
I kind of read it as he expects to be a part of the bench unit in the rotation. Not that he's questioning that, but I think he's kind of wondering what the style of that unit is going to be, because according to the Warriors, the last couple of years, they've wanted him to play a certain way or, mesh with the system, immerse himself. And for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to do that as much as I think he would like, because that would have led to more playing time. So when I hear him say, CP doesn't fit the style, or, I was surprised, I don't take it as he's trying to get traded, but I do think he's kind of questioning, well, you guys told me you wanted the bench to be this, and you wanted me to play a certain way. You just brought in a player that doesn't really fit that, at least from what I've seen. And now I wonder, am I back to square zero? Or is Chris Paul here for me, actually? Like, I think he's kind of questioning what his role is going to be. At least that's how I take it.
Because that was not an endorsement.
No.
We'll
not a ringing endorsement.
If it works, like, man.
Yeah.
And he's telling you stylistically it's not a fit. Nat, I've been watching, so.
But let's also not act like this is maybe anything new. We left last season with the idea of the Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga have some work to do to get on the same page. And I don't know that you can do that in July.
Okay.
So he's probably still there. And he's been more and more willing in recent months to talk about it, talked about it to the Chronicle and whatnot. And so that's where we're at. There's work to do there,
okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's still here, especially, Wiseman's gone, Poole's gone, there's an endorsement in there somewhere from the Warriors just by the fact that he's still here.
Well, maybe it's also he's like, well, I'm coming up on a possible extension after next offseason. Like, this is a pretty big year for me. And you're bringing Chris Paul. I think the Warriors did it in a way for him, but also to address plenty of other stuff. But if you're Jonathan Kuminga, it's like, all right, this is in a way my make or break year early in my career. What are you guys showing me that would make me want to be here beyond? Because I haven't felt as much love as I would have hoped. You did move Poole. You did move Wiseman. So clearly I'm valued. But how soon am I going to be actually involved in the capacity that he wants?
Yeah.
It could be 4 years from now.
But no, see, I think the Warriors should be as motivated as Jonathan is to get something great out of Jonathan this year, because they don't have Jordan Poole's 20 points anymore. Like, I remember hearing, and I think it was an unnamed GM, one of those reports, but when we're talking about the Warriors' title chances, they're like, the year before when they won it all, Jordan Poole became a thing in ways that we didn't see coming. They're going to need someone else to step forward like that and have a phenomenal, productive
a big
year.
ask.
It is. But someone's going to have to do that. And to me, he's candidate one. I mean, you can start with, I hope they're healthy, and are you going to get active Wiggins and all that? But if the Warriors are going to win next year, somebody's got to be better than what you're expecting them to be.
Okay.
And who would that be other than him?
Okay, I got
It's him.
And I'm going to say this.
He's him, Goo.
There's no doubt he's him. And he
Patrick
wants
Mahomes.
to be him. When Dre was flirting with, I might leave or I'm taking all offers, I'm looking at Dre's numbers, 8, 7, and 6. I told Steiny this, and I mean it to this day. There is no part of my being that does not think if Jonathan Kuminga was inserted into the Warriors starting lineup, and I know the game and games are not just about numbers, there's no way in hell Jonathan Kuminga couldn't average these numbers. And I feel like just the competitor in him knows that. And he can't get that opportunity with Dre in his way. And Allen, you can't tell me these youngsters don't want to start.
Yeah.
And I feel like his 3-point percentage would automatically be better than Dre's because Kuminga can hit him. But it's about when you empower these youngsters and they know, okay, I can mess up, but I still am going to play. That's why we got that letter. That's why I feel like we got we'll see if it works. He's not thrilled, man, with what's in his way to be the best version of himself. That's okay.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM, and HD1 San Francisco and Odyssey Station. Sorry about that, Goo.
No,
and there's no secrets, right? There are no secrets. We all know who's on the team. That's why we knew something's got to give with Jordan Poole and with Klay Thompson and Steph. We knew something had to give there. Man. We know something's got to give with Kuminga because there's no way, and I get it because Chris Paul, we don't know how many minutes he's going to play. There's no way Kuminga can be lower than second guy off the bench. Okay. He has to be seventh man.
That's how I got it.
You have to be, right? So even with that being said, I don't know what those numbers look like, but to your point, Goo, there's been a lot of conversation just in terms of that younger regime and what they expect. There's some conversation about how Jordan Poole had some feelings too. You got me on the bench. You got me on the bench. When I get blown by, it's a problem. But Klay, because of what he did, throwing up the four is no problem. When I take a bad shot, I'm the scapegoat. When Klay does it, shooters shoot. And I'm not coming down Klay's road. If I could reach your hand
and dap you up, I would, Allen.
I got you.
That's as real as it.
And look, this is not about anybody's feeling. We are speaking as if these are the most elite, high-level competitors in the world.
Right.
Wait, anybody want to ride Pine?
No doubt.
You didn't want to ride Pine in Little League. You didn't want to ride Pine in high school. What makes you think these guys are going to sit there and want to ride Pine? Jordan Poole's feeling like, y'all don't get this championship without me. Klay played half the year.
No,
and Willard, how soon do we forget?
What you got in your hand?
I have what Steph Curry just said about Jonathan Kuminga from the golf tournament in Tahoe.
Here we go.
He's asked about it, okay?
This is awesome. Let's go.
Ron Kroichick did this in the San Francisco Chronicle. He caught up with Steph out there at Edgewood. Says Curry clearly expects the Warriors to keep Kuminga, and he expects, quote, a lot out of him in the coming season. Here's the quote from Steph. It's a challenge to figure out how to elevate your game and also fit within the system and what makes a winning team. I know JK is working hard this summer and trying to take the necessary steps to be part of a winning rotation. All the nuances you have to learn, end quote. Now, that would be my response to what you just said, Goo. Can he average what Draymond averages? Sure. Does he know any of the nuances?
Okay, wow.
He's 20.
Yeah,
Does he care?
I would say
He's
no.
20.
To that part.
He's 20.
No, and is he trying?
He's not at the golf tournament in Tahoe because he's not allowed in Tahoe yet.
Man.
He's 20. I mean, who's 20 in the NBA?
But his profile,
And doing it.
Evan,
Who's doing it?
But I'll tell you what, when they're trying to win a chip, and you heard Curry say, it's go time. They're not looking down the bench. Kerr's not like, oh, you want some fruit snacks? You got to go in there and do something,
Right.
So they put themselves in that position to be dependent on him. So give him his time. Like, I didn't understand him not playing against the Lakers and what was ever going on. That was the wrong thing, man.
Well, listen, to me, I remember that in the King series, he did get his time, and they didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, but
it was already sour. No excuses.
Maybe,
but you already had lost him to me.
Well, maybe, but by the way, what's that a reflection of?
Can't do that.
That's on Jonathan.
No,
you can't go pout.
Right.
Yeah, you can't go pout.
You can't. And I'm going to compare it here to what was supposed to happen last year with our guy Trey Lance. Okay, supposed to have the keys. Man. Let's see what we got. This is a different version, but this is where we're at with Kuminga. And I don't know if this conversation has to happen with the front office and Steve. Steve, you can't yank him if he does something wrong. We got to see what we got. We don't really have anybody else. We can't continue to, every time he does something wrong, get out of the game. Again, this is not high school. This ain't Allen Stiles, Daryle Stiles, 6-man. I'm not running the offense. Get me out of there, Goo.
Yeah.
And they did. They really did.
But if you're Kuminga, and in regards to Curry's words, like his weight is above anybody else. But Jonathan Kuminga also probably read the quote of Stephen Curry pointing at Jordan Poole's locker and saying he's the key after the Los Angeles Lakers series, and he got shipped out of town a month later.
He was the key to the Chris Paul trade.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I hear
if
you,
you're
Evan.
Jonathan Kuminga, you're probably seeing mixed signals. Not to say that's on Steph, but I think in regards to the organization and his place in it, he doesn't have an answer, and maybe it's unfair, but he probably wants one sooner than later.
Did you ever think about, just a quick aside, when Steph said that, and he pointed to Jordan Poole's locker room when he talked to Logan Murdoch and that article came out, did you ever think that Steph wasn't talking about the future and he was talking about the past? And I'm not even, like, there's something that crossed my mind. Like, that's the key. In other words, like.
That was the key?
That was the reason. That was the reason.
That we didn't win.
Yep. Or
that never crossed my
mind. And Kuminga
mind.
was a candidate to be on that bus on that 7-game speed. Well, he wasn't even, his minutes were dissolved.
Or if he is talking about the future, instead of thinking about it in terms of basketball the way we do, that guy's the key right there. In other words, can that guy change his way? Can he get over it? Can he change his attitude? Can he start playing within the team concept more?
And does he want to, like Allen said?
Does he want to? Now, and to be honest with you, I took it at that time as something a little bit more abstract because I've thought for 4 months that the Warriors were going to trade Jordan Poole at their first opportunity. I don't know how you couldn't with the way that it ended. But if Jonathan Kuminga wants a straight message, he's got one. That trade would have been way better for the Warriors if Kuminga was in it. So they want him. I think they want him. I think they know that they need something from him. But he's
irritated and mad about Poole and
everybody
else up out of here.
They got to all be on the same page.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's still a monetary slot if they did want to move him with Chris Paul.
Yeah, but can you trade Chris Paul?
Not before January.
Yeah, January.
Yeah. But and again, I'm going to just
curveball too.
How the young guys are these days, Goo. I'm just going to be completely honest with you.
I love that.
I see these videos. You got Kuminga Muse on Twitter. Shout out Kuminga Muse, and they post what Kuminga's doing, and he's in his bag. And when he goes to the gym,
falling for it.
His high school or his highlight tapes, he's shaking and baking. He's shooting off the dribble.
Well, and he's 7'2" now, so he got that going for him.
He got another.
Where do you see him?
So
where do you see him?
So
he's 7'6" by October.
So I also don't know if there's a disconnect between what he wants to do. If he feels like I can do certain things, but you know what? When I look at the comments, you know what they say? Dub Nation has turned into a version of Steve Kerr because they know, everybody knows, Where are the highlights of you rebounding? Well, ain't nobody going to post a highlight of you rebounding.
But that is a thing you need to improve.
But yes, that we want to see you working on certain things. And if there's a disconnect and Kuminga's thinking, now I'm trying to get my bag right, that's not going to mesh very well at all. At all. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the guy who got the bag last offseason was Poole. He is gone, but he got money because he could score.
Exactly.
Jonathan Kuminga saying, if I
get
want
to
to
the free throw
paid,
line and
I
slow the
gotta
game
score.
down with the best of them.
Somebody need to have Kawhi call up Kuminga and say, hey, man, board man gets paid. Don't ever forget it.
How soon do you want us out, Willard? And Evan, how much time you got?
No, stay as long as you want.
No. Sorry, I was just I wasn't pulling this time.
Can we go to whole rip? Because I go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, you want to go?
If you don't mind.
Until 2. Oh, okay. Yeah,
because I want to get both
Absolutely.
Hang as long as you want.
Because I got to
Once again, this is the key to me. It's a challenge to figure out how to elevate your game and also fit within the system of what makes a winning team. Like
he's a high flyer.
Yeah, but you gotta fit.
Yeah, that's
all Steph cares about.
He gave us
what
the
Steph
answer.
cares
You're right.
about is all that matters.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Jonathan, we know you can do all this.
Jordan's
but this
a wizard.
How we do it.
You don't need to fit in Washington.
Wow.
Yeah.
This can be combustible, man.
You can cook, you can bake, you can do your thing.
Yeah.
And you can win 27 games and have a great time. Yeah. You've got to fit. And like, I know this sounds sometimes like it's not fair. I know this ends up with people going, Steve Kerr hates young people. You young players joined something iconic.
No, they were selected.
Yes.
They didn't choose.
No, but it's not your choice.
Exactly.
Like, and so if they want the other thing, you can have that. You can get traded, and you can go to Washington. This is their lot in life. Trey Lance, too. You didn't join a team that went 2-14. Yeah. You joined something very good, which, yes, in a way makes things unfair for them, but sorry, life ain't fair.
Right.
You've got to fit.
And this is the medium, the thing that we do, this vessel. Even when I listen, because I love it, Willard and Stiles and Evan. I told Evan yesterday, my parents, beautiful marriage, married 63 years.
Damn.
They would have little arguments, minute ones, but as youngsters, my sister and I would be in the back crying like, the end is near.
Right,
not even knowing what was going on. Yeah. They're fine. But I bring that up because Warrior fans, they think we get out of bed, all of us, and Steiny especially, like we look to come up with something negative. No. If you're a grown-ass adult and you watched how that season ended and the mannerisms, the body language, just the Kuminga letter, whatever he was trying to state, there's something there. And Poole being gone, if you read those quotes just from Kuminga in the fit and Curry saying,
brother,
we got to be, there's ingredients here that if stuff is not right, it can explode. There's no winners in that.
You've already been proven correct. I mean, this is something that and Dibbs and I talk about it. Like I promise this whenever I do radio shows. You don't need to agree with me. You can think I'm nuts, but I promise you, not making things up to tick you off and get clicks and attention. Like we were told back in January, oh, y'all just making stuff up about Jordan Poole for clicks.
I was one of them.
How about now? Were we making stuff up?
Man.
Was the drama behind the scenes for our personal gain here on 95.7 The Game, or was something actually going on? This is how the Warriors have felt all year to me. And by the way, they still kind of do. Look at the Exodus. Okay, there's a lot of people leaving. There is stuff going on behind those scenes that they've got to figure out, and I think they have started to make the moves that they think will help figure it out, but we're now in July where only time will tell. And Jonathan Kuminga is very high on the list of one of those things. Well, like there is something going on there, and they have got to bridge it.
Willard, I take offense to that. Not what you're saying is we have been told, and I told you this, Evan Stiles, tell me what you think about this Warrior culture. Okay, Warriors culture. Throw a life preserver to one of these youngsters. How the hell, Draymond, you're the man, the junkyard dog, the heart and soul, and you don't got sense enough to know you need to go build a relationship. This starts in training camp. How can you say, I didn't know my brother, but you're getting the love and the credit as this leader? So are we just going to all Bill Murray and Ghostbusters the youngsters till they're all gone?
Maybe.
Like, come on.
Well, see.
Somebody's got to step out their comfort zone and help and reach one of these dudes.
But here's what I would say, because you're not wrong, but I always go back to we don't know that he didn't. Jordan Poole openly stated that when he was in his first good year, Draymond was the guy. That's who he looked up to. That's who put his arm around him. That's who helped him. Now, things went sideways, and that all got fractured. But when I hear Draymond say that I don't know Jonathan the way I need to know him,
man.
I don't know if he's saying that in a way of just like, because I don't give a crap.
No, not that I don't give a crap.
I tried and I can't. I haven't been able to get through to him.
Well, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
I heard,
but
I didn't get to know.
I don't know.
Come over and have a
I'm
beer.
not, hang on.
The road
I'm saying I
41
don't
times,
know.
Mark.
I'm saying I don't know.
And the road record was boo-boo, and now I'm starting to wonder it was because of lack of rapport.
But do y'all not get the sense that with the Warriors that the veterans felt exasperated because they've been trying to get through to the kids and it didn't work? I don't think we started here. We didn't start with hurt feelings. I mean, Jordan Poole, to last week, Steph Curry's reaching out to him on Twitter. I don't think they hate each other.
No.
I think they're trying to get them to play in a way that the veterans feel has been proven successful, and the young guys have been very, very slow to do it, to the point where two of them got traded, and now a third one is like, okay, you gonna do it this time?
Because it doesn't benefit them, right? That they can understand. I don't think the young guys are, I don't think they don't understand. It's just what you're asking me to do is not good for me personally.
It's not. It got Jordan Poole $135 million.
But Stephen Curry and Draymond Green have also admitted that it took them 3 or 4 years to impact winning in the NBA.
Yes.
So it hasn't taken the young guys a long time. Or sorry, it has been a very short period of time by the great standards.
But going by my thing that I said a few minutes ago, the lot in life you get is the lot in life you get. Steph, Clay, and Draymond came into an organization that was not right in the middle of a championship window. Kuminga, Wiseman, Poole, and Moody did. That's the way it went.
And I feel like if those are the guys,
you got to contribute.
But if the championship is resting on them,
it's not resting on them.
But that's the way it makes it sounds like when we're essentially setting up how Jordan Poole is now perceived by a lot of fans, and at least the way I read this and some of the reaction to it, both from fans and in this room, is it's kind of setting up to be the same thing, to where if things go wrong next year, we're going to look at Jonathan Kuminga, go back through the breadcrumbs and say, this guy's the problem.
I don't think that. I don't think
run
that.
out of guys to blame.
Listen, it feels to me sometimes like people are saying that these young players, because of where they were drafted, should have the avenue to go find their own stats as opposed to find a way to contribute to winning. Like, is that what we're saying?
I'm saying that I'm saying that they can think whatever they want, right? I'm saying I don't know what I would do in that situation if I was Jonathan Kuminga. Maybe I just want to ride. Maybe it's not that I don't really care about being an eighth man on a championship team if I'm Jonathan Kuminga. Maybe that's how he feels. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
But to that point, and I keep going to this, you want to bring up Jordan Poole? I cannot sit here and tell you he was not at fault, and he probably the more it comes out, okay, whatever he was doing, he was playing the wrong keys on the piano. He rubbed everybody wrong, talking. I get that. But you got to give me this, and I keep going to Draymond. Draymond came out and told us he never once, not because he didn't want to, he just did not try to build a relationship with Kuminga. So let me tell you.
I have to hear that quote again. He said I didn't try?
And then he said the assignment's going to CP3, and he's looking forward to it this year. Like, okay, hold on. CP3's worried about is he starting coming off the bench.
Go.
But my thing is.
Did he use that word? I didn't try?
It was basic. It might have been I didn't
like it didn't manifest.
Did he say that?
No, but he was saying he had to be better.
He said he had regret. I didn't ask him to come over and do this and that. My point is to what Allen said.
He meant he didn't know him.
Yeah, and there's if you got to know him, that's when you can tell him, hey, youngster, this is how we do it around here. It ain't about you getting yours. You do it for the betterment of the team. So that's why I'm saying when you're having a Corona or you're doing something on the road at a hotel or you're eating a chicken Caesar salad, that's when you tell them and sprinkle them what we need you to do. But if you're telling and admitting you're not even talking, how's he going to know?
And what did he also say all year? I lost my voice because of the mistake that he made.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I'm not sitting here absolving anybody who's been here for 10 years. Of course they have accountability in some of this. Of course. But if Draymond if Kuminga was aligning himself with Poole, then Kuminga doesn't want to listen to a damn word Draymond says all year.
Yeah,
and Draymond may not have even tried.
No,
because he didn't feel he could.
Yeah.
So that's not absolving him. That's on him because he made a really, really devastating mistake.
He was.
He made a devastating mistake. I just think this stuff always has to be. It has to be in the middle. Like a lot of what you're saying is true. But I feel like too often the conversation about the Warriors and the young guys, because we get excited about early draft picks, it's just like they have no responsibility in their own development. And my God, they do. My God, they do. Jordan Poole absolutely has responsibility in how he speaks to the standard-bearing players on this team and contributes to them in the decisions that he makes on the court. And if Jonathan gets benched for a few games and ends up in the Chronicle, that's a mistake.
Wow.
Don't do that.
No, I totally
That's
agree.
a mistake.
I totally agree.
Well, look, I would say this.
But who told them how to act? Nobody on the team.
But I would say this. It's very similar to dealing with family, right? I got two sisters, so I don't even have to go further down. That's all I got to say, and you understand what I'm saying. And the bottom line is that this whole last season was a pie chart, okay? And everybody takes some of that blame in that pie chart.
Yes.
Because when I look at this from the vet standpoint, they could have been better. From the kid standpoint or the young player standpoint, they could have been better. Ultimately, both sides, and this is why the whole, Lake up running around, hey, 2 timeline this, 2 timeline that, stop it. The 2 timeline, that is not what happened unless you want to take Jordan Poole, okay, from the second timeline. That's really all you had for that second timeline. But that's why this doesn't normally work. Because think about all the other teams that are contending right now. How many teams and how many leaders are in similar positions as either the vets on the Warriors or the young guys? None. If you were the Lakers, LeBron don't have to deal with this. We get guys that are vets that have been in the league. I don't have to, for lack of a better term, I don't have to babysit. I don't have to show them the ropes for guys that we actually need to win because we have no money. We have no money. So it's a unique situation.
You see these other quotes from Steph?
No.
The biggest thing is everybody comes to camp with the right mindset of just trying to win. We got to talk it, live it out, and understand the time frame of our careers. Nobody's got time to waste in terms of any energy other than trying to win.
Oh, he doesn't have time to waste.
Yeah, no doubt.
And nobody does because
and that
he's
happened
the only,
last year.
And he's the only right. And
no
he's the
doubt.
only Steph. So there is one timeline.
Yeah.
One timeline, and it's now.
Look, I'm gonna
quote
Jamal Murray, right? So, I love my last chance, you getting to the promised land so you can get to that D1 scholarship. Jamal Murray, everybody eats. If we get to the promised land, then we're good. And he gets his boy, Bruce gets paid, right? And the Warriors need to find a way. If we get to the promised land, Kuminga, you'll be all right. Moody, you'll be all right. We all have to work together. And right now, I don't think that is the belief from Kuminga. I think, look, we're going to get to the promised land again, and all the other young guys, they're going to be showing off what they can do, and I've just been playing this role, jumping on the ground like I'm trying out for JV, and I'm not going to get what I believe I can do. The only reason I think that Kuminga working in the lab is going to help is because, to your point, Willard, you did lose Jordan Poole, so you need somebody to get buckets.
Yeah, no,
it ain't all going to be alley-oops from Kuminga.
I think if the Warriors are going to have a special season, he needs to have a special season. And the special season doesn't mean 20 points a game. But I think he needs to have a night in and night out impact. He's one of the guys who could play 80 games for them this year. It needs to be a defined role, but it has to fit. Like, here's one thing I sort of think about as a fan, and it can change from team to team and year to year. If you ask me right now if I care about the Giants' future, yes, I care. Right, I want Shohei on the. I don't even care about the Warriors' future. I don't care. Now, it's their job as executives to care, but I think that's what Steph is saying. Enough with these 2 timelines. We could all worry about 2027 in 2026.
That's man.
Later.
All right.
Like, I do
Cash
not
in now. Milk
care.
Yeah.
Let's go. 49ers. Oh, gosh. Who's the quarterback in 3 years? Don't care. Go win the ring.
That's fair, but if you're also then asking the future, who is Jonathan Kuminga, to have a special season, then you do need to care about the future, in a sense.
Not really. I care who he is this year.
He's 20 years old this year.
Right. I wonder how he can contribute. He's also here for the third year, though. He's also been here for a while.
Yes.
And so
I think to expect him to have a special season
but I
at
said,
age 20.
Special does not mean 20 points a game. I'm not asking for him to be one of the top 3 scorers for the Warriors. I'm asking for him to take a big step forward from what he's been before.
Yeah, and I think with the Chris Paul addition, he's probably wondering what that step looks like because his role is going to be different with that second unit with a guy who's running it that plays different than the way that he's been accustomed to playing his first 2 years, as he's already trying to get his sea legs under him.
Right, but the way he's accustomed to playing for the first few years is watching Jordan Poole try to attack the basket. Like what's fascinating to me is that he doesn't think that this is amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And maybe that's because he doesn't want to upset his boy. He doesn't want a quote out there that Jordan's going to read. Who knows what's going on in his mind? But this is an absolute coup for Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah. No, all I was going to say, not necessarily anything about Jordan Poole, just in terms of Kuminga. Well, that's not how we normally play. Well, Kuminga, you ain't really been getting run.
Right. So how's that working out for you?
You should be happy that there's somebody.
Bench.
Right. You should want a different
pace. Slow
pace.
it down and have somebody who wants to pass you the ball and throw you a lob.
Yeah.
This guy was the point guard for Lob City, and you look like a young Blake Griffin. Go do it. Yeah. Find a Kia, jump over it. Let's go.
Yeah. And this is from C.J. Peterson. This is June 2022. This is Draymond Green talking about his relationship or their lack of with Kuminga. I think there's an age gap. I walk by him in the locker room and he just start laughing at me. He's looking at me like I'd look at a 55-year-old man. This is Draymond Green. And he said, we really never had that type of relationship because of the age gap, and I don't know if I have to learn this Draymond, learn this generation because you can't lead them the same way you would lead someone that's kind of your generation, Green said. You figure out what buttons to press and how you get to them and how you treat them, but we haven't been able to gel. This is 2022. So he just said on this podcast a couple weeks back, 2023, that he didn't fix it. They didn't work on it. And I'm not saying it's Dre's fault, but to me, that's what leaders do.
Yeah.
Young Buck, let me holler at you. Let me tell you about the Warrior way. And I'm just wondering, man, where this thing is going.
So you got kids. When you do that, do they listen to you?
No. Right.
But
I double back. I triple back. I let time go, a day go.
And we don't know that he hasn't. Right. I will that story that you just said.
That's a year old.
I know, and you're not wrong. But again, the year now that you're asking for him to step forward, he messed the whole thing up by punching one of his buddies.
All right.
So
and he got $100 million for it.
Wow. I hate the game, not the player.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I would also say to Jonathan Kuminga, if Draymond's walking by you in the locker room and you're laughing at him, that's probably as a 19-year-old not how I'd enter the room.
That's what my little nephew does to me.
That's gay. Willard,
but I don't know. I don't know if that was light and airy or
said it,
right. Everything you're saying is true, but also goes both ways.
Yeah. Well, either way, I'm looking forward to what you guys got coming up in the next 3.5 hours. In addition to, of course, the All-Star Week prize below.
Yeah, what'd you guys give away?
We gave away, finally, Jerry Seinfeld tickets are off the board.
Yeah,
off the board.
A chance to win the autographed Steph Curry jersey.
Klay Thompson autographed jersey still up for grabs.
Still on the board. Still on the board.
Coming up next, Willard Stiles, 95.7 The Game.